one thing that I kind of learned far down as being an aide is started to ask questions. A lot of times the PT says, hey, get the patient to do this. And for me, it's like, okay, I'll do it because that's my duty. But I think as like closer getting into applying to PT school, I started to ask questions, and that kind of helped me in my journey now in the classroom, because it kind of solidified kind of the purpose of exercise, of therapeutic exercise, the reason why patients are doing what. And I think that kind of gave me an extra boost in the classroom.
Hey everyone, what's going on? Justin Lee here, fitness coach and third-year DPT student. Here you'll find videos on fitness, physical therapy, and lifestyle that helps inspire self-change. This channel is all about lifting others and lifting weights. So let's lift for change, people. If that resonates with you, feel free to subscribe. So today I had the awesome opportunity to interview Kaysee. So Kaysee and I went to undergrad together at APU. Our major was applied exercise science, aka kinesiology. And I remember she was saying like, yeah, I want to go into physical therapy as well. And so I was like, what prereqs are you taking? And she was kind of taking her time. I was a little bit more focused and just like balls in taking all these different prerequisites and getting my major done. So I was taking like, I don't know, 17, 18 units per term. But I do remember that, yeah, I'm trying to get into DPT school. And then finally, this past year, or this past cohort, she got into DPT school and just finished her first 6 months of the program. So this is basically like all the kind of foundational classes, so like anatomy, biomechanics or clinical skills, some research, wellness, modalities, and things like that. And then next term, she's gonna get into the bulk of physical therapy, which is like ortho, cardiopulm, neuro rehab, neuroscience, and all of that shy stuff. So for those of you who are interested in DPT school, I thought this was an awesome opportunity to interview Kaysee, because she just finished her first 6 months, and just less than a year ago she was anticipating getting into DPT school, or already had figured out, oh, I'm getting in. So a lot of you are in that boat right now. So I hope this interview resonates with you. If you have any questions throughout the video, please feel free to comment below. And if this video has inspired something inside you to change or to grow or to take initiative into doing something today, give this a thumbs up. All right, hello everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Justin Lee, and I have a very, very special guest here for this interview. This is Kaysee, I don't know how to say your last name, how is it?
Tayag.
Tayag, Kaysee Tayag. Little history, Kaysee and I went to undergrad here at Azusa Pacific, and we were taking the same major, so it was applied exercise science, or aka kinesiology, but we were also taking some prereqs together and all of that, and we were having a ton of fun. And those of you who are interested in doing PT, I would highly recommend taking a kinesiology major. However, if you're still doing bio or whatever other major, that's fine. Of course, I'm biased and love kinesiology. Anyway, Kaysee is now a first-year student at in DPT school, and she just finished her first term, pretty much, first two terms. So basically, she just finished like all her anatomy, all her basic clinical skills, or like biomechanics and things like that. So she's fresh. Everything is just, she's still in the dirt of all the academics right now. So I thought this was a great opportunity for us to interview her and just to see where her mindset is at, and see if she can share some tips and tricks and some wisdom for all of you. Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, Kaysee. So first things first, I just was wondering, what are some differences in your mind from undergrad to doctorate school in academics, in coursework, in lifestyle, and all of that? Could you just share a little bit about that?
So some of the differences from undergrad to doctorate. In undergrad, you're taking all these courses that kind of don't really matter. I mean, you take those, I don't know, like philosophy classes and all that other stuff. But once you come into a PT program, you start taking classes that actually matter. You know, if any of you are applying, you have to kind of volunteer, be an aide in that field. And I think coming into PT school, you kind of understand what you're doing in the clinic as an aide. So I just finished up a class called modalities, and we were working with like thermotherapy, cryotherapy, the reason why you do traction. So you do all those things in the clinic, and it's really cool to kind of understand why, practical applications and stuff like that. Obviously, anatomy is something in undergrad that you take, but coming into your first semester, you take anatomy, and it's something more than just anatomy. It's learning about the body. You actually get to dissect and kind of see what the body truly has, and you go beyond just the books. You're definitely in the lab doing those types of things. So I think, I guess the biggest difference is that it actually matters. It's something of your own interest, and it's the reason why you're here. I think that's the biggest difference, is it matters.
Right. Wow. That's awesome. And it's cool that you're able to apply a lot of the stuff that you were doing as an aide and then realize that's why they were doing that, or and then just have a better understanding of everything that's going on, just a deeper understanding kind of thing. Just really quick, you mentioned how you were an aide before and you were coming into DPT school. Looking back, if you can have some or share some tips and tricks of when someone else was an aide, what are some things that you would share about what you would look out for, or what some things that you would just focus on? Because there's a lot of things going on. When you're an aide or a volunteer, you're I don't know what the heck is happening. So what's something that you would try to share some wisdom on, saying, all right, focus on this?
Yeah. Okay, so I think being an aide, one of your biggest duties is just make someone do an exercise. But I think it's really important that you go beyond that, kind of understand why you're giving an exercise, or why the PT is giving this specific exercise to that patient. One thing that I kind of learned far down as being an aide is started to ask questions. A lot of times the PT says, hey, get the patient to do this. And for me, it's okay, I'll do it because that's my duty. But I think as closer getting into applying to PT school, I started to ask questions, and that kind of helped me in my journey now in the classroom, because it kind of solidified kind of the purpose of exercise, of therapeutic exercise, the reason why patients are doing what. And I think that kind of gave me an extra boost in the classroom, because I have a kind of a bigger knowledge and a bigger understanding of why I'm learning this now. So I think if you're an aide, I think definitely don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're doing something and you want to know why, or you just don't understand why, the physical therapist is there for you. Use them to the best advantage as you can. I think that's my biggest advice as an aide. If you're an aide, definitely ask questions.
What kind of questions would you ask specifically?
Oh, don't do that. Okay, so I don't know, maybe ask why am I prescribing, or why are we prescribing this exercise versus the other exercise? Why are we doing heat versus ice? Or why traction over ultrasound, or stuff like that? You can honestly, the physical therapist will help you understand, and it'll make your life as an aide so much better, knowing the reason why. So.
Yeah, that I would definitely have to agree with you, just understanding why. Of course, there's a time and place to ask those questions, not in front of the patient, but maybe after the patient, when your therapist is documenting or something, then you can be hey, so why did you choose to stop doing that exercise and chose to focus more on here? And then figuring that out, and hopefully your PT will explain that to you, will give you a better knowledge of what is actually going on. Yeah. So talking about some undergrad classes, and I know we took some kinesiology classes and stuff like that. Would you recommend, in your opinion, what would you say would be the most beneficial class that you've taken in your undergraduate or even prerequisite courses? So physics, bio, whatever it is, anatomy, phys. What would you say are the top 3 courses that you've taken to help prepare you the best for DPT school so far?
So I think I'm going to talk about 2. There's a class that I took in undergrad called Corrective Exercise. I think we were in that class together. That class actually taught therapeutic exercise, kind of how to correct movement, which as physical therapists, we're here to analyze movement. We're here to analyze body mechanics. And I think that class was a really good class that kind of helped me in this field, I guess, also as an aide and in the classroom. So as movement exercise, movement specialist, I think it's important that we have to have a good foundation. That class definitely helped in that sense. Another one that really helped me as well is Physics 1. I know it's brutal, but it kind of helped in biomechanics when we were in our first semester, learning about vectors, learning about all that stuff. It's not the funnest thing in the world, but if you have a good foundation on that, you'll definitely thrive in biomechanics. So Physics 1, get that A, understand that it's brutal, but definitely something you need to have in your toolbox.
Yeah, the corrective exercise course, I know that's by NASM, NASM. It's the CES, the Corrective Exercise Specialist. So if any of you who are into or know the NASM certification or personal trainers, and you have your CPT, the CPT, right?
CPT, yeah.
The Certified Personal Trainer. There's also an additional course, which is the CES, the Corrective Exercise Specialist. So highly recommend that. Our class was basically what that course shows us. And then physics, like everything about physics, like how the force goes, the moment arms, and all of that is like, wow, like having that foundation definitely for me as well. It's like that, I'm glad I took that and understood those concepts. So then now I could apply it to like actually how I'm moving somebody or why something is harder versus easier. So I wanted to ask, we were talking about undergrad classes, and I know those classes, like the prereqs, are very hard. Chem, physics, all of that to get that A. But doctorate school, DPT school is also very hard as well. And it's a very fast-paced course, or very fast-paced program. So from undergraduate to doctorate, how has your study habits changed, if they did?
I think it changed a little bit. I'm a talker. I like to talk things out. I think in undergrad, I wasn't really into like group studying as much, just because it was just all about what I need to do at the moment. But when you're with your cohort and you're going through these classes together, I think we created a bond to kind of actually study with each other, and it kind of benefited all of us to kind of talk things out. Whiteboards are your best friend, whether it's this one, a small one. Shout out to my big Jeff Mueller for getting my whiteboard for me. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gone through anatomy. Shout out to my grand big Kevin Moran.
Wow.
Yeah. sorry, I had to. But no, definitely group studying is a big thing. I started doing note cards. I wasn't a note cards person in undergrad. Yeah, flashcards, like index cards. I think that helped me a lot with memorizing, because you can just flip through, and it's portable. You can take it with you. Quizlet was great. But yeah, definitely group study was the biggest thing that kind of helped me thrive in class. So yeah, get close with your friends and start studying with them.
What do you mean by talk it? What do you mean by like talk it out and things like that? You're me.
Yeah. Welcome to my show. So what was your question? Sorry.
I was asking. You're mentioning like talk it out, like talking it out. Like what does that even look like?
Okay, so for example, in C Skills 1 at AP, we have this class, pretty much like biomechanics, learning how the body moves. It's one thing to kind of learn the information on our iPads and through the professor, but if you're able to talk out concepts, talk out like concave versus convex, right? Like if you're able to talk those things out, it kind of solidifies it in your brain, and it also allows you to see how other people see it. So if the way that you're understanding doesn't make sense to you, but you hear it from someone else, their way of thinking might be better for you. And I think being able to kind of distinguish like how you think versus someone else thinks, it gives you a broader, even better understanding of the concept. So talking things out in that sense is good. I also, for anatomy, we would talk out origins, insertions, just all that stuff, literally to every detail. So I think being able to talk it out, it gives you a reminder later on of like, okay, that's how I said it to him. So, and it makes you remember it more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then sometimes when you're studying with somebody, you guys have inside jokes. Yeah. So then you'll be like, oh yeah, we were having such a fun time because something so stupid was said about like that concept or something. Yeah. When we were talking about anatomy, any tips for people who are taking anatomy now or going to go into DPT school and take anatomy? Like, it's a beast, obviously. Like, you go from the top of the head all the way to the bottom through all the layers of the body, through the organs, the blood vessels, all of that. Like, it is, if you take a step back and you look at it, it's a gargantuous like subject. Any tips or tricks for anyone who's going to get into school on that you could share to them?
Tips. Other than those whiteboards, I think the whiteboard helped me a lot. Draw things out. I know APU, we're solely based on iPad. We have this app, I can't think of it at the very moment. I think it's called Atlas for Anatomy. There's different apps, but like we had virtual apps. It helped me to kind of visualize it because we can't see the cadaver all the time, and being able to have a visual and being able to like flip through, and it's like 3D. You can like rotate it. It's pretty cool. You can zoom in, zoom out, pick on muscles, and I think like we have technology now. So I think use your technology. Use those apps. Use Quizlet. Quizlet's great, like I said earlier, but definitely whiteboards. I don't know. For me, whiteboards, notability, you can draw on those things. But also, my biggest advice for anatomy, it's overwhelming. Take it day by day. Like, overloading yourself one night is not the best thing. Just have a set schedule of like what you want to study throughout the day, whether it's going to be, I'm going to learn 5 muscles today, 5 muscles tomorrow, take a break from it, and then, I think planning your memorizing that way is beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. I think anatomy is also one of those things. It's just raw memorization. There's no concepts involved. It's just, what is that? What's the origin, insertion, nerve, blood supply, whatever it is. What's the fraction of it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So definitely. It's just. I think people learn differently, like you said, like in group settings, you hear it. Sometimes are kinesthetic learners or visual learners. So, however you learn, I really would encourage you to figure out how you learn and then capitalize on that. And I think that's what you mentioned, like, I didn't know I thrived in this environment of group settings. And then who knew, like, you were more of an auditory and a person who talks to help you learn kind of thing. I know that you started this program like half a year ago. Would you recommend anybody to start studying, like maybe even anatomy at all, or go over it or anything like that? Or would you just say don't study, or like what's your thoughts on that?
Do not study before PT school, because when you go into PT school, you're just that's all you do. I mean, that's not very cheap. Majority of what you do is study. I mean, there's a lot of room for activity, for sure, which I think people don't believe that, but if you're trying to apply to PT school, just kick back. Like once you get in, then the storm comes, because you kind of just want to like clear your mind or do fun things before. Maybe if you're an aide, maybe anatomy is something that you should go over because of anatomy in the clinic. But other than that, no, don't do it. You're gonna burn yourself out before you even start. So.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree on that. I mean, I even made a video on like, should you study before DPT school? And I mentioned that you shouldn't. Like, you should just chill, just enjoy your time. Like, don't worry about the anatomy. You're gonna have time for that. So just relax, right? Yeah.
Kick back.
Just kick back, enjoy yourself, and go travel or do something crazy. I was gonna ask you, is DPT school everything you imagined it to be? Like, and you can explain this in a positive, negative, whatever way it is. But I think just hearing your raw perspective on DPT school. I mean, and obviously you're at APU, but I mean, there's many different schools and everyone has their own culture and things like that. Is DPT school everything you imagined it?
I think so. I'm gonna be honest. It is. Did I think it was going to be easy? No, it's harder than I thought. Coming into the program, like I knew I was good at studying and I was good at what I did or am doing, but in reality, it's tough. It's not something that you can just like go through the motions. Like you have to invest yourself. You really have to put your whole self in it, or else you're just gonna fall behind. And in that sense, like, did I think DPT school was the greatest thing? At first, it's overwhelming, but as like the 5th, 6th week went through, like you're so used to it. Like you're able to kind of learn that much. Like looking back with anatomy, like I didn't realize I learned so much in 16 weeks. So in that sense, like, did I think DPT school was the greatest or what I perceived it to be? Yeah, but no. I know that sounds so confusing, but the best part about DPT school right now is my cohort. Like, we're all so tight with each other, and so I expected to be close to people, but you find the people that you really work well with the best and have fun with the most. I think I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to get as close as I am with the people that I am close to now, and that's like the best part about it. Like, there's 65 of us going through this together. We're like literally tired. We're happy. We're enjoying PT school. We're also just exhausted together. And I think being able to journey with these people through all of these hardships and rewards is the best part. And I don't know, shout out to my cohort. Y'all are the best. Shouting out
queen.
Well, I mean, the one and only chance, my only platform right now. Here.
So stupid. All right, anyone else you want to shout out while we're here? I mean, we're
Shout out to Justin, liftforchange.
liftforchange, baby. So stupid. Oh man, but yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think in any adverse situation, it's the people that you go through it with that makes you like stronger than you even thought you were. And I would completely have to agree that in DPT school, I was going into it like, holy crap, like I'm gonna be so stressed because there's so much stuff. Yeah. But I think as I've gone through the journey and look back, I go, wow, I am really capable of this. Yeah. And you are capable of rising to the occasion to any situation that you're put into. So yeah, that's really amazing to hear that from you. DPT school is very hard, obviously. What's the one thing that gets you up every day to come to class at 8 a.m. or wake up way earlier because you have to commute, eat your breakfast, all of that, pack your stuff? Like what is that fire inside you that says like I'm gonna keep coming, I'm not gonna stop?
So 2 things. One, my cohort. You wake up every day and you're just like, oh God, I gotta go through everything today. But once you get here, you see your classmates, that you're not alone in the journey, right? 2, the end goal. The end goal is to become that clinician that you want to be. At the end of the day, like, you're here because you want to help people. You want to live your purpose. And I think for all of us, for you especially, like, our purpose is to help people, and with this field, and I think in the hard days when you think, wow, I have to go through all these things today, the long-term goal is to get that DPT, to become that clinician, So I think long-term goals for me it helps me throughout the day. You'll have short-term goals, long-term goals, but at the end of the day, like, you're here because you want to help people. And I think that's what helps me get through my days.
Do you ever, like, while you're in class, you're like, oh, you learned something, you're like, wow, if I had known that, I could have helped so many more other people. Do you have an example of anything like that, or not really?
I can't think of anything else.
Can't think of it right now.
Can't think of it right now. That's a hard question to ask.
Okay. Well, if you end up thinking about it, please share. I think it would help a lot. But speaking of helping people, I know as PTs, everyone in the healthcare field in general, you have a heart to serve. You have a heart to help people. And I absolutely love that. And that's why I'm here as well, and on a different platform to help pre-PT students to give insight and to get into school and all that stuff as well. So speaking of helping people and as a physical therapist, I was just wondering, after you're done with school, maybe residency or whatever, what is your dream? Like, what is the purpose of why you entered this field in the first place, and where do you see yourself ending up at in whatever field or career or anything like that?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to make this a little funny. My dream job is to be the physical therapist of the Lakers. That's, I mean, that's a big goal, but let's start somewhere smaller. So I do see myself in the ortho field. I haven't gone through ortho yet, but that's where I did a lot of my volunteering. A lot of my experiences as an aide was in the ortho clinic. I want to work with maybe possibly athletes. I think it's fun for me to kind of help athletes. I was an athlete. I still am an athlete. Yeah. But I did play basketball, and being able to help an athlete get back to where they were, or even farther than what they've been, I think that would be like the best job. I can go home every night being happy, just being able to help an athlete get back, and just people in general. Being an aide, I've experienced that gratitude of being a part of a process of a patient's progress. So I don't know, just working with athletes for me, being in the ortho clinic would be something that I would really, really love. Yeah.
Wow, we all love ortho, right? We all love ortho. Who knows? You still have ortho. You still have all the other core subjects, neuro, cardiopulm, all of that. So something might spark inside you. Say, maybe it's something. Maybe it's pediatrics. Who knows? Not me, but yeah. I know, dude. What happened to you? You gotta look back at this video. I was so stupid. Naive Kaysee.
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? But yes, did you happen to come to a answer to that question by any chance? If you didn't, it's okay.
Okay, wait. What was the question again?
It was now I'm forgetting too.
I think
It was, I don't remember. I forget. It's okay.
I'll comment below.
Okay, comment below
Comment below.
on whatever it was. We'll look back at the video.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But anyway, thank you, Kaysee, for your time. It's been so amazing to listen to you and for you to share your wisdom, not only to me, because I'm learning from it too. Like, I think anyone, no matter how high of a status or how high you are in your career ladder, you can always learn from anybody. Children's, kids, adults, grandparents, anybody. Like, I believe that. And if you have a moldable heart to have that, I think you're in the right place. But before we end, I do have something for you, so hang tight.
Oh, what is this?
What is this?
Christmas came early.
Christmas came early.
It's my Amazon package.
This is Prime Delivery, one day.
Wow.
Liftforchange.
Oh, snap. Oh,
I know.
Yeah, I told you I wanted this color.
Yep.
What? And I get a sticker.
And you get stickers. Hey.
I wanted this color. This will be my third one.
I think you have the black and olive one,
Yeah,
right?
I
I think
have
I
black and
remember.
olive.
Yeah.
This is the one
Yeah.
that I
The
wanted.
blue. There you go.
Thank you.
Well, yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being in this video and sharing your wisdom. Just another way for saying thank you and appreciating you for your time and for being in this place. So I hope this video has inspired something in you or I hope you took something from this video to just go out and do something and just take initiative to maybe start studying or maybe stop studying or maybe start getting an A in physics or things like that. Oh shoot. Uh-oh, maybe not. But this channel and this video has been so helpful for me, for you, and for all of you. So thank you again. And I hope you guys learned something from this because change people, change people. That's why we live for change people. Have a great one, you guys.
Cut.